Good evening, everybody. This is Jamie Paxton, your host of Warrior Spotlight, where the stories are real, the emotions are raw, and the hearts are courageous. Tonight, my husband, my co-host, he'll be watching. He was running a little behind tonight, so he could not make it. But our guests on the show are John Griffith, and I want to make sure I'm saying this right, Senior Vice Commander at the state level for the Michigan VFW.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a lot to say.
Yeah.
And would you like to introduce the guest that you brought?
I have Stephanie Krieger with me, who is the president of the VFW Auxiliary State of Michigan. Very happy to have her. I wanted to bring her along because she knows the VFW Auxiliary inside and out.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, I have to thank our sponsors first, and then we're going to get over to the both of you, right? Well, welcome, and we're super excited to have you guys on tonight. We want to thank Mary Beth. If you guys look up in the corner of the TV, she is our mental health. She is from the Center from Healing Connections. She is our primary mental health, and she sponsors our show.
Wonderful.
And we're very, very grateful for her. I want to talk about, I told you we were going to blast this over the next several weeks, so we want to talk about this again. This is our fundraiser once a year. James Griffith says, "Hey, old man." He must be your son. He must have got on. So we want to talk about this fundraiser. We have one major fundraiser a year, and it's important because this is what sustains us throughout the year, right? So this fundraiser pays for the veterans who utilize the equine therapy. It pays for the spouses group. It pays for the kids group. We do community dinners. Sometimes we have some sponsorships that help us with those community dinners. We have a warrior garden with the show, right? The show is about reaching other veterans and veteran families who don't know that we exist, right? And these resources exist. So this fundraiser is very, very important to us. Our goal is $50,000, so it's a big, hefty goal. But I do want to run through here and thank my sponsors that are on here, because it's very important to us that they know that we're very appreciative of what they've done and how they stand beside us. So Aggregate Industries, the Delventhal Company, Laurel's Princess, Torn Veil, Absolute Memories Photography, Vibrant Life Senior Living, Levin's Law, Simply Sound, Duke Farm. Duke Farm is where we are hosted at, so they're amazing. JDRM Engineering, SSOE, Sunoco Gas Station, Local, Emmanuel Baptist Church, and our latest one as of yesterday was Gathered Creations. So we're just very, very grateful for all of you for stepping up and helping us through this. You can get the tickets online. We'll post all of those links. We are ordering some hard tickets because we were asked about those. So just follow us on Facebook or follow us on our website, and then you'll be able to, get to the links. All right, enough of me, blah, blah, blah. Let's get started with you, Mr. John.
Okay.
We know you're a veteran. Let's hear a little bit about your veteranhood.
My veteranhood. Well, surprisingly, 53 years ago today, I raised my right hand, I joined the Army, and they shipped me off to Fort Ord, California.
Well, happy anniversary.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I did 15 years active, and then I remained in the reserves for 17 years. I've got a veteran wife who was a lieutenant when I married her. And we still argue about who outranks who, but she usually wins. My oldest son is retired Army, James. He lives out in Colorado, the one that said, "Hey, old man." And then my oldest daughter, Pam, served in the Army, and my youngest daughter just got discharged from the Marine Corps. So she's back home now.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for all of the service and all of the support, for sure. Brian gave us a shout out. Hi, Brian. Thanks for watching and tuning in tonight. But let's go back. So did anybody in your family serve?
My father served in New Guinea during World War II. Actually, we can go back 5 generations to my great-great-great-great-grandfather, who was Private Knight, was captured by the British during the Siege of Charleston. And then he So for 5 generations, we've had military in the family. And the British let him go 4 days after he was captured under oath of reparation that he wouldn't take up arms against the crown again. He lied. He was captured again 30 days later. So, so much for honor.
Yeah, right.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
That's right.
So it was kind of in your blood to join.
It was. It was that, and I lost my best friend, and I went through 7th grade all the way through high school with, and lost him a year before I went to Vietnam myself. By the way, can I just take I want to shout out to.
You can do anything you want to. This is your show.
I'm bringing greetings to you. We got the auxiliary president here for the state of Michigan, but I want to bring greetings to you from Kevin Conklin, our current state commander.
A real good guy.
Really,
Real
and
good
he,
guy.
in fact, he's still serving. He's the undersheriff for Van Buren Township.
Wow.
So,
Amazing.
if Kevin's listening, I mentioned your name in high places, Kevin.
Okay, we got VFW Michigan in there.
Michigan.
Yeah, all
All
right.
right.
Sarah Anderson. All right, you guys.
Okay.
Got some people watching tonight.
Okay.
Brought in the
Wonderful.
big guns tonight.
Guess so.
Okay, so tell us about your service. Tell us what you did in the service.
Well, they sent me to military police school at Fort Gordon, Georgia. That makes me a real old guy because it's changed places twice now. And then they sent me to Okinawa, where I learned to be a sentry dog handler, then to Vietnam. When I came back from Vietnam, I started going to college at night, and eventually got into Army CID, became a CID agent, and then later left and joined the Treasury Department and later the Justice Department as a special agent with ATF. And that's it. Pretty much in a nutshell. I stayed in the Army Reserve, stayed as an Army CID agent, and so it was a rewarding career.
How'd you get connected to become a dog handler?
Well, they brought some dogs over and gave us a demonstration, and they told everybody in the platoon that we were all going to Vietnam. Who would like to take a dog? Sounded like fun to me, and I did something my father told me not to do.
Volunteer.
I volunteered. Everybody in the platoon that volunteered to be a dog hunter went to Vietnam. Everybody else went to Europe, and stateside assignments. So,
Awesome. So were you with your dog the whole time?
the whole time in Vietnam, yes. And when I rotated back, he was retrained and probably went back to Vietnam with another handler,
Wow.
or to Korea.
Yeah, there's a movie that's out. It's Megan Levy.
Megan Levy, one of the most realistic movies out there about women in the service, and I think I love that movie. I've seen it about 3-4 times, and
I just recently watched it.
it's a tearjerker.
Oh
It'll bring you
man,
to
as a
tears.
dog handler, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm an avid animal lover, anyways, but it's like, wow,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, that's a good movie, and it shows about women veterans, and that's one of the things VFW. We encourage people in that are women veterans to join our ranks. Right now, we're bringing legislation. We're trying to get legislation through to enhance the veterans administration to provide more services to our women veterans, and that's a mainstay of the VFW. Is we fight for veterans' rights and benefits, both the VFW and the auxiliaries.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Especially, sitting here as a woman veteran. So,
Absolutely.
and then, like I said, I have one daughter who serves, she's currently a Black Hawk pilot. And then I have an oldest daughter. She served 8 years in the Air Force. So, yeah. So, women veteran are kind of a passion of mine. Kind of.
And I got 3 at home.
Right. Your son says, my dad is a bad man.
Okay, James, it's enough.
Paying
Thank
attention.
you.
That's good. Hey, Ray Lopez is on. Say hi to Ray.
Hey, Ray Lopez, I see you're there.
Thank you guys for tuning in and watching tonight. This is great.
Oh.
Okay, so give us some meat and potatoes about the VFW. I know you just touched a
okay.
little bit on the women's stuff, but tell us about the VFW, what the VFW is doing today. Not old school VFW. What's happening? Give us the lowdown.
The Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States, it's a nonprofit veterans organization. And it's comprised of eligible veterans that have served in military service, in active guard and in reserve, that served in theaters of operations during our conflicts. And we go all the way back to, basically we can draw our roots in the Spanish-American War, fighting for veterans' benefits, bringing legislation through Congress to support veterans and get the rights and get the benefits that are so richly deserved by our veterans. And we are involved with community service. We like to say in the VFW, we're still serving because both our VFW members and the auxiliary members, we're supporting community-based projects. We have scholarship programs. Gee, Stephanie, help me out here.
Patriotism, hospital work. We work big in the VA hospitals and nursing facilities for the veterans. That's huge. It's huge to the VFW and to the auxiliary both. And we believe that we're important in the community, but it's not just about doing things for the community. It's important for us to educate the community in the veterans' rights and get the community to also vote for people who support veterans' rights, not just people who take care of seniors. Very important because we are.
Right.
We get it, but we have to educate the community in lots of ways, and so doing things for them gets them to pay attention to us, and then educating them is a natural progression from there.
So for viewers who don't know, right? I know we have some viewers. Oh, Al's on there.
Hey, Al Bond.
So for viewers who don't know, so we can educate them, right?
Right.
So people hear VFW, right? But you're at the top ranks of the VFW, right? So what is your position? What is your position meant to do, and what do you do as a senior vice commander?
As a senior vice commander, I do what my commander tells me to do.
That's a military answer for you.
That wasn't what I was looking for, and he knows that.
I kind of knew that. Basically, I serve on a committee with our line officers, Ray Lopez, our junior vice, myself, and Kevin Conklin, our commander, our state adjutant quartermaster, what's his name? Derek, yeah, that's right, Derek. And we administer the program from our offices in Lansing. One of the things that we oversee is the Veteran Service Office. And a lot of people don't realize the VFW has probably the best trained veteran service officers in the nation. I think we have.
Tell people what a veteran service officer is for those who are not listening.
A veteran service officer.
Don't know.
Our veteran service officers represent veterans with claims against the government with VA. If they have, if there is a service-connected disability, our veteran service office, at no charge, will take up the fight, put in the claim for the veteran. If he's denied, they'll take up the fight and they'll do the appeal. And it's at no charge. And, I tell you, it's not just for VFW members, veterans of foreign wars. Any veteran can come and ask for the VFW help, and our veteran service officers stand ready to do it. They go through rigorous training. Mm-hmm. In fact, I was just at one of their training sessions up in Mount Pleasant a couple weeks ago. They were going through 8 hours of training. They take proficiency tests, and our veteran service officer. I think the lowest score on the proficiency test that I remember seeing was like 96%. Just phenomenal.
Wow.
And it's no charge to a veteran, whether he's a VFW member or not. So many veterans are under the impression to make a claim against the Veterans Administration, they have to acquire an attorney. Well, they don't need to acquire an attorney. Number one, especially if it's the initial claim, it's illegal for an attorney to charge him to make a claim. Mm-hmm. Now, they can charge him if they go through an appeals process, but a veteran doesn't need a private attorney. He can come to the VFW, to our VSOs, and we'll take up the fight for them.
And I was just going to say that a lot of them don't know that, right?
They
and
don't
so
know.
Through this, getting out over the last 4 years, right, I've learned a lot about what we don't know, right? And so a lot of people who have served, veterans who have served, right, don't even know they're veterans, right? So, that is a very
sad fact.
It is true, right?
Very
so
sad.
we have a client that we just took on. She served 16 years, and she didn't even know she was a veteran. She didn't know she was entitled to anything, right? And we hear it all the time, right?
When they leave the service, they don't want you to leave.
Right.
But they don't tell you about the rights and benefits that you have and how to get in touch with the VF. I'm also a member of the American Legion. Mm-hmm. There's other service organizations out there. Mm-hmm. And they don't put you in touch with these people. No. So you have to seek out. And that's why Stephanie and I are here today.
Exactly.
We're trying to get the word out.
This is why we do this show, right?
The veterans of foreign wars are here to support you. Mm-hmm. We do so much in the communities. We support ROTC, we support local school Veterans Day, the cancer programs at the Department of Michigan.
I want to interrupt you just for a minute because I want to stay on the VSO thing for just a second. So one of the things that I want to advocate for and talk about from a veteran perspective is, tomorrow, ironically, I'm on my third claim visit, right, for trying to get something approved, right? 2 previous people have approved my claim, right? But evidently that doesn't set well with whoever, right? So now I have to go to a third visit, right? So what I'm telling you, if you're listening, you're a veteran, what I'm telling you is keep doing it, right?
Absolutely.
You have nothing to lose, right? They're going to put you through this little goat rope thing. Keep doing it because you're entitled to those benefits. You earned them. You served. You raised your hand. You served this country. Keep doing it. So I will go to 4 more if they want me to go to 4 more. I think it's ridiculous, the hoops that they make you jump through,
Do you
right?
have a veteran service officer representing you?
I do, yeah.
Because that makes a huge, huge difference.
Oh, yeah.
And then a lot of people don't even realize that my VFW in Taylor, the veteran service officers from the VFW come twice a week, every Tuesday and every Friday from 8 to 4. And all you have to do is show up. You don't have to make an appointment. Mm-hmm. You just walk in and wait your turn, and they're there to help. There are service officers, most of the organizations down in the McNamara building down in Detroit. Well, a lot of people are uncomfortable going to Detroit. You get lost.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind anything else. You just get lost. All those one-way streets and where do I park and what do I do? Mm-hmm. And so they're meeting at the VFW halls and the American Legion halls, I'm sure, and they're there to help the veterans where they're at.
Yeah.
And you walk in, if you have nothing except your story, they're going to help you get the things you need to fill out your application. The veteran service officers are God's gift to veterans, for sure.
Yeah, when we were there, we were just at a veteran resource event up at the VFW in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, post 423.
And it's beautiful. If you've never been, it is so beautiful. But that VSO table was the busiest table there.
That's
Absolutely.
right, because so many of the veterans are just learning that they have rights and they have benefits that are due them. Mm-hmm. That's how the VFW came into existence, because the soldiers coming back from the Spanish-American War were due so much, and the government wasn't coming across. Mm-hmm. And that's how the VFW got its start.
And here's what I'm going to say too, right? Because obviously we, as a collective group who want to help veterans move forward in their now new life and through the benefits that they deserve, right? they continually say, one, if they don't know they're a veteran, right? But if they are a veteran, so many of them say, oh, somebody needs it more than me.
Oh, let me go there.
I hate.
I want to go
Stuck a
there.
nerve.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So we've all heard that one,
No.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Too many times.
The benefits from the Veteran Administration is not like a pizza pie. It's not just so many slices and then it's gone.
Right.
That's why we're here. That's why we need the membership to fight with Congress and get additional funding. And it keeps going. I had 2 back surgeries before I ever made a claim to VA. And I kept saying, these guys have lost arms, limbs,
Right.
and they said, no, you don't understand. It's not a pizza pie. Make your claim.
Right.
And so I did. By the way, if any of your listeners out there, I want to get this in before we run out of time. If you are interested in joining the Veterans of Foreign Wars, you can go to our national website, I believe is www.vfw.org, and you can sign up there to become a member. And they will cite you, once you go in and become a member, the local post to where you live will contact you and bring you into their post. That's www.vfw.org. And
I'll make sure that I add that to the link tonight too, so everybody has it.
Okay.
Sarah says VSOs are inclusive to all veterans.
That's what I just said, Sarah. Thank you very much. Sarah is our publicity person up at department. And in fact, she was an intern for a while. Now we've hired her, and she's doing a great job.
Yeah, she also says, also for more information, you can go to vfwmi.vet. She is on it tonight. I love that.
Yeah,
She
she's
is.
doing her job.
Yeah.
Good job.
If you
Good
want-
way to go.
If you want to go in and find out what the Michigan VFW is doing, go into VFW. I guess you're supposed to put the www, right?
Everybody knows what it is.
Okay, VFWMI.vet.
Yep, that's what she put in there. Yep.
That's right. And you can see what our programs are, what we're doing, what our scholarships are, and you can find posts located throughout the state. We have in excess of 35,000 members of the Veterans of Foreign Wars in the state of Michigan. I'd like to see that number double.
Wow. Your son said one more promise. The VSO really works. One of them got me to 90% disability rating.
Yeah, that's my son that served in Kosovo, and thanks for reminding me about that. Yeah, he was an Army medic in Kosovo, Bosnia, and he got out and he had some real medical problems. He served both active duty and in the National Guard, and it was all service-connected disabilities, finally at 90%, and that's good.
And we want to reiterate that again, too, because I was Guard for 25 years, right? But I served all over the world and did all of that, right? So it doesn't matter. Again, I want to reiterate that. It doesn't have to be just active duty,
No.
right?
Absolutely.
They
Reservists.
take care of the reserve and the
Reservist
Guard
Guard.
as well.
And one other thing, while we're on the subject of guards and reserves and people like that, I am so tired. If you're any of you, I'm an old guy, but you see a young lady driving her pickup truck and she's got Iraq on the back of her license plate and stuff. Don't walk up there and ask her if her husband served. She's a veteran. Ask her if she's a veteran, and ask her if she's a VFW member. And if not, then we need to recruit her.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. One of my pet peeves, because my wife,
He's getting you where you live, isn't he?
Yes, I know,
Oh.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I was at an event and I had my Iraq hat on a table because I served in Iraq. And somebody asked me whose hat it was.
Yeah.
How exciting.
I'm like,
Oh my
women serve in the military today, right? You know that,
Well,
right?
the thing is, only the military is made up of only 15% of female soldiers, sailors, Navy, Coast Guard, whatever. But the VA at this time is not giving them that 15%, and that's why one of our goals legislatively is to force Congress to fund VA, get more female services into the VA. Right now, the last I read, if you go into the VA for family planning and everything, you got to pay a copay. That's ridiculous. You don't have to do that on the civilian side of your health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And so why is the VA doing that? So hey, we're
We
contacting
have a long way to go, John.
Well-
There's no doubt about it.
and we're contacting congressmen and senators about this.
We forget about the female veterans. We forget about how important they are. You know, they were moms and daughters who left home, and they didn't know if they were coming back. Their moms didn't know if their children, literally children, were coming back to them. We forget how important it is. Just as the VFW got wise enough to vote female veterans in years ago, the VFW Auxiliary, thanks to the female veterans in a large part, now has the male relatives of veterans in the VFW Auxiliary. We got rid of the word ladies, it's gone,
Right.
and we're the VFW Auxiliary because we finally get it too. It really is a complete family, and if the female veterans could serve, their male relatives as well as their female relatives have the right to be in the auxiliary, which is the backbone of the VFW and does the lion's share of the letter writing and the email sending and the organizing and all of that. So
I think I
getting
said
better.
it before. I don't know if I said
getting
it
better,
on
John.
air or if I said it when we were talking before the show. You can have a great VFW post.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a good VFW post. But if you want a great VFW post, you better have an auxiliary. You know, because
Absolutely.
they support our programs. They support us. In fact, oftentimes the programs that are traditionally VFW programs, some of our old guys are getting a little lazy, and if it wasn't for the auxiliary to pick up the slack, that program might fail in that particular community.
So it really is a team effort. And
Yeah.
and this year's state commander, Kevin Conklin, that is one of his goals is for everything to be a team. A team of VFW members and a team of auxiliary members and a team of both together. And we're really working hard this year in particular, not that other years it didn't happen, but
Yeah.
this year this is the goal for us to work together and show everybody that we really mean business when we say we work together. We work together, and so
That's
the
amazing.
team's important.
So, not to switch gears from you, but we're going to talk about her for a minute.
Good idea.
Okay. All right.
Since we're on the auxiliary topic. So, give us a little background about you.
Okay, I've been in the VFW Auxiliary for 40 years. Hard to imagine.
40 years?
40 years.
That's 40.
Yeah.
40.
It's hard to imagine, but my youngest son was just a little over a year old when I joined the auxiliary, and I joined under my grandfather, who served in the Navy in World War II. I also have eligibility under my father, who was a merchant marine in World War II and activated by the Coast Guard. So, and I've been at the same VFW auxiliary for the whole 40 years. So.
But why did you want to become? Why did you
My
want to
mother
be
signed
part?
me up. That's the truth. You know,
My mother made me do it.
That's the truth. I
love that.
My mother called me up and she said, "You have to be at the VFW hall on such and such a day at such and such a time," and I signed you up and I paid your first year's dues and I want you to join. So who says no to their mother, even when they're married and has 3 kids? Nobody says no to their mother. She's 90 and she still is rocking and rolling. So that's actually how I joined. And I went to my first meeting and they were talking about something. And the VFW is very good, which I just said VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars, is very good at our acronyms and our initials. And we forget that people don't know what they mean. Well, they were talking about a banquet, PCPP, which is past commanders and past presidents banquet, and this I just stood up and asked at the end of the meeting, they let the newbie talk for a second, and I asked what it was, and this lady said, be at such and such a place at such and such a time and you'll find out. And that was it. I got involved. They were smart enough to get somebody who wanted to be involved and snatch them right away. The biggest mistake we make is signing people up and then letting them go. Now, some want to just sign up and be let go, but many sign up because they want to be active, and they were smart. They were smart. My mother dragged me in, and they kept me in and kept
They
me
said,
in.
we got a good one here.
Yeah,
Somebody that'll work.
So you are at the top of the food chain too,
I am.
right?
In Michigan, there's a
In Mi-
there's a
oh.
top above me.
Okay, but in Michigan.
Yes.
So tell us exactly what you do at the top of
Okay.
Michigan for the auxiliaries.
So for the auxiliary, our job is to educate the members on the benefits that are out there and the responsibilities that are out there. We're responsible to make sure that our Voice of Democracy and Patriots Penn scholarship programs for kids gets to the schools, which was a real challenge last year. But we're responsible for doing that. So we actually learned Zoom this last year, and we do training on Zoom, and we found that we're going to once a month train on a different piece of I don't even know if you know this, a different piece of the auxiliaries involvement, legislation and Veterans and Family Support and Americanism and scholarships and so on like that. So the biggest job is to help people when they say we need help, or auxiliaries and members, and to teach them how to, I'll say, take my job away from me. I want to train somebody to be good enough that I can step aside and say, they'll be okay. So I guess that's what I do.
What's one of the biggest mistakes you see within an auxiliary?
One of the biggest bickering.
Why do they bicker?
Because there's a lot of women in the auxiliary, and we tend to like to bicker, and many auxiliary members that are active are organizers and bosses and want to be in charge. There's sometimes too many queen bees and not enough worker bees, and sometimes we just don't want to accept the fact that we have to change. You know, somebody said a few years ago, this is not your grandma's auxiliary anymore. Well, I get it. My grandma and her friends went to coffee after the VFW auxiliary meeting was done. They went to coffee at each other's houses and had cake and coffee and visited and rewrote the whole meeting and everything that had happened. So, and we don't remember that there's young families that both parents are working nowadays. Back then, grandma stayed at home, so it was her night out. And doing an activity was grandma's opportunity to do things in the community. So I would say we just haven't yet quite figured out how to incorporate overall young families. Many do well, but many do not.
One of the things that the VFW, or the Veterans of Foreign Wars and the Auxiliaries, did years ago, after World War II, virtually every village, hamlet, and town had a VFW, and it became the social center.
Absolutely, it did.
Okay, wars calmed down. We had Korea and we had Vietnam, but we didn't draw those members in, and so the dances went away. Television came in. Now you could watch TV, and now you didn't sit on the front steps and wait for the VFW to open to go down. But the VFW back then was a place where veterans could gather and talk to one another, because one veteran can understand another. It doesn't make any difference if he was Navy or he was Army, or if he was a veteran, he understood. And this was before we knew what PTSD was. My dad was an Army medic in Vietnam. He'd come back talking about people being shell-shocked. Well,
that was the expression.
That was the expression. But now the VFW has changed. We're there for the community. Like I said earlier, we're still serving. And we're not necessarily the social center of the community anymore, but we're still supporting the communities. And now we're more family oriented. You were at Post 423 out in Ann Arbor the other day, and did you notice they had Playscape out there for the kids?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they had Playscape.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of our posts are getting into providing for families.
Yeah.
Family-oriented programs. Aside from, of course, we have the Voice of Democracy and the Patriots Penn program, scholarship program. That's free money. That both the auxiliary and the post sponsor. So we are family-oriented, and that's
We lost that for a while, and we're trying
Yeah.
to get it back. That's
Yeah.
true. And the second thing you asked me about, when you ask about what they aren't doing right or what is wrong, is we don't tell our own story. It's interesting because years ago, when you're going to be state president, you get to pick your theme. And my theme is tell our story of service. And I thought of that years ago. Well, that's what we don't do enough of. We don't tell what we do. The VFW thinks that everybody knows about us, so we don't tell about us, but they don't all know about us. That's why you do things like this podcast. We don't tell about our service, and as he said, we're still serving. They're still serving, and we're serving right alongside of them. So that's our other mistake. We don't tell our story.
So, I know we briefly talked about this for a minute, but so I served 25 years, and my husband's a civilian, right? He's never served. And so I've never looked through the eyes of a civilian, right, until I retired. And I did not do it within my first 2 years of retiring and into that transition, right, because
Right.
I was in this whole other mess, right? And then probably about 8 months ago, we had some families that I was listening to them talk, right? And I was absolutely mortified at the thought of that the families are completely left out, right? And that I'd done it myself, right? I was service first. I put my mission, I was mission ready. My mission went before my own family, right? And I can't undo it. That's the way that it was, right? But what I discovered through this journey and what we do with our program, because we meet once a month as a family and we bring in, everybody brings a dish because we're trying to recreate that community, exactly what you're trying to do at a VFW, right? Because I realized that I missed that language of a veteran, right? But during that process, we realized that the spouse who was the rock while their hero was off, right? Because that's what I hope your hero's doing great, and not to take from the hero, right?
But there was another hero at home.
Right. Then when the hero comes home, the hero's all jacked up, right? There's still the rock holding the pieces together, right? And so then all of the care and all of this, the spouse's energy is still going to this veteran, right? And their family. Well, what happened to that spouse? The spouse lost who they were, right? And we discovered that. And I was mortified.
And that's why the veterans of foreign wars have become more family oriented.
Yeah,
we
it's
have
critical.
We have
It is
assistance program. We have assistance program for spouses to help them with their education. They may have taken a back seat while their spouse was serving overseas, and we're taking care of the family, being the rock. Okay, so they took the back seat. Now the spouse is back. That veteran steps up, and we will assist them with their education. I know a lot of people don't know that right here in Michigan we have a thing. It's called Camp Trotter.
I have not been there, and I so want to visit
Camp
it.
Trotter is we in the state of Michigan, the only VFW state organization that has our own summer camp for kids. And we send, I think, 3, 4, 5 different sessions every year. 6 weeks.
Sessions.
Also, in Michigan, we're blessed to have the Veterans National Home. And the VFW National Home is located in Eaton Rapids, Michigan. It's been there for years. And we bring in families who have no place to go. Maybe they've lost a spouse, and they have no job training themselves.
Or maybe both parents are activated.
Right, and the kids come there. They're given in fact, I just saw they had a big swimming date where they took the kids out. But these are the kinds of programs that the veterans in foreign wars do. And when you join, a portion of that money, goes to support those programs. We do fundraisers. I mean, the Post and the auxiliaries. So we have bingo. We have that, and everybody sort of makes a joke about, oh yeah, we'll go get on the VFW and play bingo. Well, that bingo money goes back into scholarship programs in that community.
Sends children to camp.
Yeah,
When children are sent to the VFW camp, almost exclusively the VFWs and auxiliaries are paying that $200 and something for their week of camp. The parents get them there and back, but the whole time they're there, obviously they're fed, and there's crafts, and there's lifeguards that have to be hired, and counselors that have to be hired. All of that comes out of the camp fee, and almost exclusively. Not that some families wouldn't be willing to pay, but they don't have to, because
Right.
the VFW and auxiliary take care of it. It's that big of a priority to them. And the National Home, it's a huge campus of brick homes, 3, 4, 5 bedroom brick homes that were built starting in the 40s, I believe. And they get, if a mother is there, a single mother is there with her children, she has her own home. She's not sharing a home with you and your kids. That's their home. And those are sponsored by states all over the country. Many states have people who have never even seen the National Home, but they're paying the money to help support, because it's a veterans family, and it's what we do.
Right. And just to wrap up what I was saying, with that community aspect, right? We realize with the equine program that we have, because it's a year long, so it's a journey, right?
Right.
That the community stuff that we do, the community outreach with these families, is equally as important as the equine therapy that we're doing with the veterans, because
Absolutely.
it is what happens to the veteran happens to the entire family.
Exactly.
Right? And I think it's sad that there are not more things out there for the families at this moment in time. That's why I feel so grateful that we can be a piece of it. I love the fact that the VFW is doing things to be a piece of that. You know, the auxiliary, I absolutely love that.
Well, one of the things, Jamie, we're going to take back the information concerning the equine program.
Absolutely. I'm very excited about it.
Different posts throughout the state support different charities within their community. And there's no reason that they could not donate to the Little Blessings equine program if they so choose. We just send it through our department headquarters so that they get credit for those charitable contributions. Sure. And but you still get the check at the end of the day. Just an example, I was telling Stephanie about 4 weeks ago, we had a family whose house caught fire, and they left that house in their pajamas, barefooted. And they had their little dog. They saved the dog too, but other than that, wiped out everything. This man was a veteran. He wasn't a member of the Veterans of Foreign Wars because he had never served in a theater of operation where there was a war, but he was a veteran. He had served, and his daughter is a teacher up at Airport High School, and we heard about that. My post in Carlton, small post, wrote a check, and I got to hand deliver it to him. We were all in tears.
Oh, yeah.
And because veterans help veterans.
They are the first ones to the line. They are, absolutely.
What is it? I got your 6?
Yeah, I got your 6. Yeah, that is such a true statement, too. Yeah. So what else you got for us? What else you want to talk about?
I
don't know. You want to talk? Oh, Voice of Democracy. Let's talk about Voice of Democracy.
Because it's going to start soon.
If you are in school, in a high school age school,
9 through 12,
and or you can be homeschooled. We have a Voice of Democracy. Normally, what you do, you go on to the www.vfw.org, and you can get our theme this year. I think this theme this year for the program is, where do we go from here? Most of the students will write an essay, and then they speak it, put it on a memory stick, and that's submitted to a local post. If you don't have a post in your community, you go to the community next over. Here come the 4093 in Carlton.
There's not geographic areas,
Right.
other than state. You have to be in Michigan, but you could be from the UP and be sponsored by his post.
Sure. And we will post all of these links and all of this stuff on there in case anybody's missing it.
And so then they're judged at the post level, and they usually, depending on how many apply, you might have 1, 2, or 3 first place winners. They all go forward to the district level. And they get monetary award from a local post. At the district level, they get another monetary award if they go to department level. At the department level, if you're selected, it goes to national. If you happen to win at the national level, that is a $30,000 scholarship. That's free money. Now, if your school doesn't support that, if they don't support free money, I would suggest you get hold of your parent-teachers organization.
Right, yeah.
Because when little Bobby or little Joni is going to go to college in a couple of years, Mommy and Daddy are going to foot that bill. Now, if they've got scholarship money, they don't have to foot a big
as
bill.
much.
So
That's right.
how does the school get connected with it and let?
All they have to do
Every school, they used to, and I assume they still do, every school is sent the information every year.
Okay.
High schools are sent it.
And then it's their job to disperse it out to the
To their
students.
students.
right.
Okay.
Some schools make it a requirement that they write an essay, and then they judge it within the school, and then they sometimes some schools do not want to participate in it.
Sometimes students find it online. They go,
Right.
they Google, that Google
Right.
stuff. They Google scholarships, and the VFW's Voice of Democracy Scholarship comes up, and they go in and they say, I live in such and such an area, and the VFW Scholarship Chairman for Michigan, VFW or Auxiliary Scholarship Chairman for Michigan, will get the information on this student, and we'll put them in touch with a VFW and an auxiliary somewhere, in their vicinity.
Now,
It's
for
just
the-
a wonderful program.
For the younger ones, for the
Middle
school and just middle school,
6th, 7th, and
they
8th.
have an essay writing contest, and that we call that the
Patriots Pen.
thank you, the Patriots Pen, and that's just a written essay, but it's sponsored by a local post, judged to the district, to the department, and then to national. Not quite 30,000, but still money.
Right, yeah.
And so that's one of our programs that the Veterans of Foreign Wars do. We also sponsor Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, venture crews, youth groups.
I do want to give a shout out to Brian. I don't know if you're still watching or not, Brian, but his passion for the VFW is just explosive, right?
Oh, he is.
And it
Fantastic.
comes true from his heart. He never wants a veteran, and he's said the story on here many a times. He never wants a veteran to be in a place where he was at, right? And he wants the VFWs to be able to be a solid place that can serve the veterans, right?
That's right.
And I know he was all right. Hey, buddy, I got your back. I got your 6 right now. So he's talking for Laura right now. He was in the community pushing, the kids to say the Pledge of Allegiance, and he talked about this stuff all the time. Extremely, extremely passionate for the VFW and what they do, and how can he get the word out, and
Right.
We just
The-
have
Awesome.
to tell. We just have to talk. We just have to tell our story. It's as simple as that. And we're not as good at it as we should be, but that's really what we have to do. I mean, we tell our story in words and in actions. People see us. They're encouraging in the auxiliary nowadays. There's a program that's auxiliary community outreach, and it's for me as an auxiliary member to go help the March of Dimes, wearing an auxiliary hat or shirt or pin or badge or something, so they know I'm there, I'm an auxiliary member, but I'm here doing this. And those are the kind of things that we have to work harder on, is letting people know about us, not just the things that we do, but we're there to help you. We're there to help with cancer walks, and we're there to help with Fisher House and the National Cemeteries. Those aren't all VFW programs by any means whatsoever, but if we start wearing something like John wears his hat, and we all have our polo shirts, and John has one on too. We wear things that tells the community that, oh, that's a VFW member, that's a VFW auxiliary member. Then they see that we don't just do VFW things at our little hall and nothing else.
This is so great. So about 8 months ago, because we have a lot of services within our community, right? And many people do not know about these services, right? And so you have to search them out. Well, about 8 months ago, I decided to have something and put something together. We call it the Veteran Community Coalition, right? And so it is based up of about 10 to 12, probably or more, veteran organizations at this moment, right? And you, by just saying that, I wrote a note, right, to be able to add the auxiliary to that, right?
Absolutely.
What Rose Sandcrant, I believe
Rose is
Fantastic lady.
She is wonderful. She is our state auxiliary state scholarship chairman for this year.
yeah, that's what she said. So she
She's
comes,
fabulous.
she comes to this,
We
right?
love Rose.
And so, but it is about us coming together as veteran organizations to serve the veteran population and stop stepping on all of the toes, right? And streamline the processes,
Exactly.
right? And be supportive of one another.
Exactly.
And we're even streamlining a calendar for next year to where
That's
we can
wonderful.
support each other's
Yeah.
main fundraisers, and we highlight what we do in each organization. And man, we've got the colleges involved, so like BG was there, Owen's there. We're going to invite Monroe because they have these veteran resources, right?
Right.
These are veterans that are just getting out of service and going into college, right?
Rose and John are both from this general vicinity,
Mm-hmm.
and they are two great resources. Rose for the auxiliary and John for the VFW
Love her.
for your area. She's
Mm-hmm.
she's wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't say enough good things about her.
we're located in the 6th district right now.
That's this
It
area
goes
of
up
the
to
state.
Wayne County and then west
To
through
Jackson,
to Jackson,
Into
and
Jackson.
and that's our 6th district. We have
to
a
the
number.
Ohio border,
We have a number
and
of.
out to Lansing.
Brian
They're a
says
big group.
that we need to concentrate on therapy with lots of exclamation points behind it.
That's
You know.
absolutely true.
Yes. Well, let me, if I might, I tried to recruit a young man one time, and said, we really need to belong to the Veterans of Foreign Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And his response was, I don't drink. I said, that's got nothing to do with the Veterans of Foreign Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said earlier, we used to be the social gathering place. There are posts throughout this district, throughout this state, that do not have a bar, but we are supporting our veterans. And he is absolutely right. Therapy is very important.
It is.
But you still need a place. It doesn't have to
Yes.
involve drinking, doesn't have to involve a bar, but it needs to go where one veteran can talk to another veteran. Every day, we lose 22 veterans to suicide. We need to be able to help these veterans. One of my jobs when I was with ATF, I was a crisis negotiator. And we have a number of crisis negotiators throughout throughout the VFW. And you can get in touch with them through our website, or you can go to the National Crisis Hotline. And I encourage them to do that, because we don't need to be losing any veterans to suicide. And surprisingly, the greatest percentage are those over 50 that we're losing. It's not the young veterans coming back, what you would think they're just coming back out of Afghanistan, Iraq, or whatever, but it's the older veterans, guys my age. So yes, therapy is very important, and that's one of the things that the VFW provides.
One of the best types of therapy, though, is veterans talking to each other, because only a veteran knows. We said this earlier. Only a veteran knows what a veteran went through. I can be as sympathetic as anybody, but I didn't go through it. I don't know. So that, not just a bar, but the VFW, American Legion, all of those organizations, they provide a place for the veterans to get together. Many veterans aren't going to ask for therapy. They're not going to go looking for therapy. They might talk to fellow veterans and get convinced to, I know somebody, I could help you. So the VFWs and American Legions and so on are crucial therapy areas, even if it's just a starting point.
Oh.
Somebody who was there.
It has to
Been
be a
there.
trusted resource, a trusted
Exactly.
brother or
Yes.
sister. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yep. And that's a key component of what we do, is that veteran-to-veteran connection, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's critical.
It is. Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
Look at
100%.
look at Little Blessings. That's a therapy program.
Yeah.
Another program the VFW has is we have writers we've got guys that like to ride motorcycles.
Yeah.
I even have one.
Oh,
Okay.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
If you want to be a rider and you're a veteran, come out and go on one of our rides with us. Okay, make some friends. We're not going to force you to join the VFW right now. We're not going to pressure you, but we'll invite you. We also have a state pool league. There's people out there that,
Like to shoot
okay,
pool.
they like to shoot pool. I used to be pretty good at it, but I think I've lost it with the eyesight. But our state pool league is always looking for new members, new teams. So if you like to play pool, get with a local post. I think it only takes 4 or 5 members to start the process and be a team and join our state pool league.
And again, this is the exact reason why I do what I do, because we try to be a resource.
Right.
To have other resources on to let people know that this stuff is out there, because what happens is they get out and they don't even know where to
Right.
start to look, right?
Absolutely.
That's the saddest part.
You're doing a fantastic
You have to
job,
take
Jim.
them where they're at.
Yeah.
Where they're at.
Yeah.
And if where they're at is they're comfortable enough to walk into the VFW hall, there has to be a veteran there to talk to them, to
Yep.
listen to them, to say to them, I understand. I lived it. And then you gently progress them. And some of them will never ever join the VFW, but that doesn't mean they won't be helped by the VFW.
Right.
And some of them will join and become active and someday be the state commander. It's just, we have to take people where they're at and give them an opportunity to move forward to where they need to be.
It's a team.
Yeah.
It's a team. Not every member on the team is a quarterback. Not everyone is a tight end.
Right.
Okay? But we got centers, we got team managers,
And
we
we
got
have
water
cheerleaders.
boys, and we
Right.
got cheerleaders.
Yeah, that's
Okay?
right. Yeah, right.
So,
Yeah.
come and join the team.
Yep.
Go to www.vfw.org or get hold of a local post. All you got to do is Google up VFW post near me. There's a post near you looking for you to become a member.
Well, guys, I am so excited that you are here. Thank you so much for sharing what you do and being a voice for veterans and for their family members.
Thank you.
You are such an amazing man. I know countless people who, I'm serious, who
Listen to
talk-
those kids.
who talk.
I'm still on
Not your
listening.
kids. They're like, yeah, we know him. But it's amazing to have somebody who cares so much at the top of the game, right? And so, because it's so easy to have people at the top of the game to be there for the wrong reasons, right? So it's really nice to know that we have top leaders, fighting for all of the right things. So
Thank you.
I greatly appreciate you taking the time to come here, be on the show, and share all the great things that you're doing.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I had no idea what it's going to be. I told you that ahead of
Yeah.
time, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I like to talk, so that's that was the easy part of the thing.
Yeah.
But the veterans, they get in your blood. You can't help but want to help more. The more you help, the more you want to help. And,
Yep.
and I guess that's the name of the game. Just try.
Yeah,
Thanks for what you do, Jimmy, because
my pleasure.
the Warrior Spotlight is just exactly what this community needs, and I hope that I know we put it out on Facebook. I hope people will watch the podcast, especially around the state, and maybe you could go national.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah. Can I come back if you go nationally?
And you know what? Facebook
Yes.
is national and international and everywhere else. Why not?
All right. Well, thank you so much. And thank you guys for participating in our conversation tonight. And we will see you next week. God bless and have a good night.